The time has finally come to update my personal rig. For the last 2 to 2.5 years, I've been rocking this system, which has served me really well. I've upgraded it over time, and it's still by today's standards an incredibly powerful system. But with a whole new generation of GPUs, CPUs, and even SSDs, now felt like a good time to mix things up. And with plenty of hardware featured here on the channel, I'll be honest with you, I was just fancying something a little bit different. So in today's video, I'm going to do just that. Combining some of the most exciting PC case and fan hardware from Lian with a top-of-the-range, stunning all-white GPU from Gigabyte and the fastest gaming CPU on the market right now. Let's do this. The Deepcool Assassin 4 VC Vision is here, with a digital screen, support for Intel and AMD sockets, as well as an enhanced vapor chamber for cool temperatures. Dual mode cooling allows you to optimize for noise levels or performance, while a 120mm outer and 140mm inner fan keep your temperatures low. A quad segment display rounds things off for monitoring key system metrics. Learn more and pick one up for yourself at the links down below. I should start today's video by saying that I feel very lucky to be upgrading from what is already an incredibly powerful system to one that's even more bonkers. I'm not going to waste the parts in my current personal rig. I'm actually going to bring it here to the office and we're going to use it for some testing and some benchmarking, so it's going to have a good home for a while longer yet. Now let's start off with this build though, and rather than starting with the GPU and CPU, let's look at the cooler and the fans and do things a little bit differently. The fans, I think, are one area my current rig is looking a little dated. It's still got Corsair's older non-IQ Link generation, and the RGB diffusion's just not that great. And when Lian Li's Unifan wireless came along, I used the black kit in a few builds, loved them, and thought, you know what? The white would be perfect for my new build. Now I've got a few different ones, so I've got a 120mm standard fan for the rear exhaust. I've got three 120mm standard fans for the exhaust through the radiator, and then I've got 6 reverse blade fans, 3 for the side intake and 3 for the bottom intake of the case today. Now while these are called the Unifan SL wireless, they still require power. The bit that's wireless is the RGB. I was kind of having a few issues with IQ Link in my current build, and I thought I want to give Lian Li's software a bit more of a go long term, which is why I picked these designs. They also look absolutely amazing, run super quiet, and provide great fan performance too. Sticking with the Lian Li theme, I've also gone for a Lian Li cooler. This is their Hydroshift LCD 360TL. Now this has got those very similar design fans on. They're the non-wireless ones, so I am going to swap them out. It's a 360mm rad. You've obviously got the screen module, which is really nice. The whole thing is color coded in white. And what's really, really cool is that the tubes will actually tuck and hide behind the fans for an even cleaner aesthetic. Lian Li are just the king of getting things right, and you can see why I've opted to keep these within the same theme for today's build. It's not sponsored, I just really like Lian Li stuff. Now you're probably seeing a bit of a colour scheme develop already. That's continued with the memory. I've gone for the G.Skill Ripjaws M5. This is a bit more of a subtle, lower profile design kit. It's not quite so garish and out there, and it's quite similar to the XPG kit that I have in my current personal rig. I like RAM with lighting that's just diffused. It's quite calm, it looks quite classy. We're lucky I've tested the Trident Neo from G.Skill. That's just unbelievable. The Corsair Titanium is similar, but for me it's a little bit too much in my personal rig. I want something a little more restrained. Talking of restrained, I've gone for a standard M.2 drive that's going to be hidden away under the motherboard, but this is actually Samsung's brand new 9100 Pro. Now this is a 2TB drive, which is enough for me. I basically play like 4 games. City Skylines, F1 2024, soon to be 2025, Call of Duty's Black Ops 6, and then occasionally like a bit of Cyberpunk, something in the RPG realm. There's more than enough storage in 2TB for basically what is those 4 titles. So the 9100 Pro is going to serve me really well. I'm going to come back to the GPU, motherboard, and CPU later, as I actually want to instead, oh, it's open at the bottom, that's not good, talk about this, the Lian Li O11D Evo RGB. Computex is right around the corner, and I've got like a really bad gut feeling that Lian Li are going to basically replace or update this case again, and then I'm going to have to rebuild the system again. But for now, I'm going to bask in what is one of my favourite, maybe my favourite case ever. And you don't have to look at this case for very long to see why I like it so much. Now, it's all white, which is great. The grommets are grey in there, which is absolutely fine by me. The glass panel is a clear tin, admit, I actually am not a huge fan of glass panels that are overly tinted on both white and black PC cases. Got loads of room for fans with 3 at the bottom, 3 at the side, 3 at the top, and then 1 at the rear. The motherboard tray is actually adjustable, so you can move the standoffs. Well, the tray's fixed, but the standoffs move, so you can take these up a notch if you want. And you can see at the back of the I/O here, there's this little filler piece just to give you that extra bit of adjustment. Now, the idea, I believe, is to give you a bit more room for radiators at the top, should you so want it. Now, I should probably at this stage talk about the motherboard, because the location of the PCI slots is actually going to have quite a big impact on where I can and can't mount the board. This right here is another one of my favorite looking PC parts on the market right now. It's the X870 AORUS Elite Ice from Gigabyte, and it's beautiful. Everything's color coded, from the socket to the RAM DIMMs to all the plastic moldings, and as you can see, the M.2 slot is first, followed by the GPU, which I think should allow me to install the motherboard in whichever format I want. If I just take that up to the top height, yeah, you can see that is actually going to work. So I think what I'm going to do before anything else is move all of those standoffs up a notch. Before that, I should probably talk about the CPU and the GPU in this build before getting this thing assembled, because I am so excited to get started. The CPU is probably going to seem like an obvious choice. This is the Ryzen 7 9800X3D. It's the fastest gaming CPU on the market right now, and it pairs up perfectly with this absolute chungus of a GPU, the AORUS RTX 5090 Master in white. I think Gigabyte are nailing their white-themed PC components right now, and the 5090 Master is a great example. So with that, I'm going to start putting this thing together, starting off with the CPU, RAM, and SSD. For the motherboard installation, I'm just going to lay the case down flat. It's quite a large case and quite heavy, so I think this might make my life just a little bit easier. This motherboard and case are just such a perfect match as well, colour-wise, and the white theme that I'm going for in this build is already starting to come together. Just make sure you take off the M.2 heatsink that ironically we just installed, as you'll need this to be able to access the standoff in the middle. I'm just going to put the case and motherboard to one side for a moment and take a look at the cooler in this build, as I know there's a bit of prep that I'm going to need to do, especially if I want to change out these fans. Now then, let's have a look. So you can see what I mean here about the cooler fans being built in and the tubes actually running down this nice little channel. It's very, very clever. These cooler fans are actually really nice, and I kind of feel a bit conflicted about taking them off. However, I just want them to be an exact match. So I'm going to take them off, put the new fans on, go ahead and screw the cooler in, and while I'm here, I might also add all of the other fans into place, 3 down the side, 3 along the bottom, and 1 at the back, which can only mean one thing. Time for a fan-based montage, aka a GeekaWhat FANTAGE. I'm still doing that thing, and it's still rubbish. It's not good, is it, really? Yeah, now it's coming together. I'm just going to finish off with the cooler, get that secured, and I'll be right back. Next up is the power supply, and I realised I didn't actually talk about this earlier. This is the Montech Century 2 Gold 1050. Now it's available by the looks of this little leaflet in an 850, 1050 and 1200 watt capacity, so 150 watts between each level. And while it's not white, it is actually a little bit silver. So it's sort of going to match the colour scheme in today's build in kind of a way. I'm ultimately going to be putting white PSU cable extensions on anyway, so it kind of doesn't really matter. Montech have got some really exciting stuff at the moment. I'm super excited to see what they've got Computex this year. They're always one of my favourite brands to go and see. And as you can see from this power supply, loads of options to plug into the back here, including the 12 volt 2x6 that we're going to need for the RTX 5090 GPU in today's build. All of the power cables as well come in this nice little bag. They're going to be black as mentioned before, but that isn't a problem as we can change these out for some white PSU cable extensions, which I'll leave links to alongside everything today, which is now probably more expensive thanks to the tariffs than before, in the description down below if you want to scare yourself. look at the prices right now. I'm going to go ahead and grab all the power cables I need. So there's a couple for the CPU, motherboard, the GPU, and a SATA power harness. Get all these up to the power supply, screw that into the rear, add the cable extensions on the end, and wire up everything I can at this stage. And with that, the final step, the very heavy, of the build today is the graphics card. I just got bodied by the graphics card off. Yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter. Oh, 5090 AORUS, this thing is a unit. I think we're gonna have room in the build. Yeah, we're gonna have plenty of room. This 5090 is about as big as you're gonna get. It's a complete monster. Gigabyte previously only did it in a black color, which to be honest, I was never like a massive fan of. This one, on the other hand, comes with an included fan for some reason and is absolutely gorgeous and very heavy. Not only has it got 3 large fans, which themselves are massive, this nice sort of reflective bit with this sort of like green and purple accents. The heatsink isn't white. I saw Power Cooler added a white heatsink to their cards. Gigabyte, take note. But it does just have a beautiful side profile. This is all RGB. There's a screen on the bottom, and the back plate at the back is this white and silver design too, with a bit of heatsink showing for good measure. So with that, let me hover the card in and let's see. Yeah, that's gonna look great. Which PCI lanes need removing? So in this build today, it is the top 3. You can see, given the size of the card, why I didn't want to move the motherboard down further. I think that would make the graphics card look too low in the case, to be honest with you. And I think a slightly higher position is just much better overall. And with the PCI lane pushed back, the graphics card is going to slide in. Oh, look at that. Now, it is a heavy boy, so make sure you fasten all the screws into place just to stop it from going anywhere. And while you're doing so, if you actually hold the graphics card up in the position that you want it, that will ensure the screws do the best job possible to actually get it into the right position. Finish off the third and final screw, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab my PCI Gen 5 power cable extension. This one is from Easy DIY Fab, and I could either run it over the graphics card and through that grommet, which doesn't actually look too bad, or I could run it below the graphics card and through the bottom of the PC case in today's build. You know what? I think that's a bit more traditional, and I like that just a bit better. Moving through to look at the performance of this build, and wow, am I happy with the numbers my new personal rig is delivering. I benchmarked this system on MSI's stunning 272 URX QD OLED monitor with a super low response time, super high refresh rate, and stunning OLED panel. All the results on your screen now are tested at 4K high, with the exception of Fortnite, which we always test at 1080p competitive settings. Let's look at Call of Duty's Black Ops 6 first. Zombies, one of the main games that I play, so the performance here matters. And at 4K high, the build achieved over 160 FPS. RPG titles like Cyberpunk are also important to me, and at 4K high again, rasterization, the build did super well at 149 FPS. This would drop a bit if you turned on the likes of ray tracing, but obviously DLSS would help to counteract this, and even still 149 FPS at 4K high is mightily impressive. Finally, it's also worth taking a look at Apex Legends for a bit of a first-person shooter angle, and here the build is basically hitting the Apex 300 FPS cap with an average of 299.2 at 4K high settings. What do you guys think of this build? Let me know in the comments down below, and if you'd like to check out latest part pricing, it'll be linked for Amazon and Newegg in the description too. Thanks for watching, and as always, we'll see you in the next one.